So you have a big giant announcement to make. What's happening in your world?
Well, the dog had a good walk this morning,
Oh,
Yay,
so Dexter's
Dexter!
very happy
Number
about that.
two? Did a number
Yeah,
two? Good, good,
he
good.
did. And yeah, I announced on Tuesday that I am running for the Virginia House of Delegates, which is the one of the branches of our legislative system here, our Virginia General Assembly.
And
So
you're running for a seat vacated by Mark Keem. Is that how you
that's
pronounce his
right.
name?
Mark Keem, our delegate for a little over a dozen years, has taken a job in the Biden administration. They're very fortunate to have him.
Hmm.
And that means that his seat is open. And I've decided to make a run for it.
That's awesome.
And anybody out there who wants to help out, they can go to mooksforkarl.com. Just like they always have in the past, and help us get across the finish line. It's going to be a very fast process. The special election is January 10th.
Oh,
Democrats will pick a candidate sometime before then. We're not exactly sure how or when yet. So it's very important that we hit the ground running, so that we can win this thing in short order. It's going to be over in a matter of weeks, if not a few months.
Wow. And when Travis sent me this list of people that support you, it's like he printed the phone book. I mean,
Well, it's, look, it has been an interesting experience talking to folks and asking for their support. And I'm very grateful for everybody who has already said that they support me. I think they all agree that we need more fighters in Richmond, people who are willing to stand up to Glenn Youngkin,
absolutely.
people who are willing to stand up for our public schools and for reproductive freedom, people who are willing to fight for our democracy. I mean, that's what we're talking about in 2022 in this election, is the need to stand up for our democracy. People who will fight the good fight to protect our climate and heal our planet. And I'm grateful to have every one of their endorsements, but I'm equally grateful to have the support of my neighbors and friends here in Virginia and all of the mooks across the country who have been so supportive in the past. mooksforkarl.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody donate as much as you can to help Karl get over the finish line and be the new delegate. That's what you guys are called then, is a delegate. It's not an assembly member.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, it's a delegate.
Yeah.
And, it's the longest continuing legislative body in the New World. I mean, this goes back to the House of Burgesses. So, every penny counts. I can't express how succinct this process is going to be. Usually campaigns are, a year long, maybe more.
Yeah.
Right.
This will be over after the Democrats pick their candidate, which could be in a matter of weeks. So we need to make sure that we hit the ground running, that we have the resources we need. Every penny counts.
Yeah.
People can go to mooksforkarl.com. They can sign up to give monthly. They can give what they can now. Everything counts. And if they live in Northern Virginia or nearby, if they live in the 35th district, we'd love to have their vote. We'd love to have their volunteer time. We'll be, anybody who wants to phone bank or door knock, now's the time.
Great. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
So,
and we tweeted out a link and put it up on Facebook and all of that. So,
well, thank you very much.
Yay.
yes. So Steve Bannon has just turned himself in.
Yes,
I know, another big life change.
It's very, very exciting that because Chris was wrong as usual.
Did Chris
I
say
say Chris
this was his
telegraphed
first
it.
time doing it?
No. I was saying that it's not like Steve Bannon to walk up and turn himself in. It would be more like Steve Bannon to put up a fight and say, "Look what the deep state is doing to me." I didn't expect him to turn himself in so
Unless
easily.
you're worried that setting that kind of an adversarial tone will result in a harsher punishment.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, and like I said,
Or
he's a
you're
little
cooperating.
Yeah.
he's a little squishy, and I just don't see him running away from a cop for very long.
Well, he was.
Well, I'm a lot of bit squishy, and I would not run. But look, I think there are a number of reasons that maybe the psychology is a little different here. There's no Trump to grant a pardon.
Right.
Right.
These are state charges, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so part of this comes down to what message you want to send the court as you enter this process. And I bet his messaging would be a little different. Think of the Alex Jones case, right? You had a different posture in the courtroom
Right.
than you did on his broadcasts.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing a bit of that.
Well, I mean, like he said yesterday, you're going to have to kill me first, and referred to the DA as a Soros-backed DA has now decided to pursue phony charges against me 60 days before the midterm election, as if it matters that he's getting arrested before a midterm?
Lots of voters out there, both voters out there who care about this, will see this as political. It's just garbage. It's just garbage. Look, this is a guy who would be in jail if not for President Trump.
Yeah. I mean, he's also going to go to jail for his contempt charges. That's going to happen soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, from what I gather with the reporting so far is that the state is going to follow the federal case as close as they can.
And I think that's pretty standard practice. Look, he's got legal counsel. They're probably telling him, to tone it down, as they kind of navigate what their options are here. But make no mistake, this is, much the same of what he was gone after before, with lying to donors and misusing funds and everything else. Is anybody surprised? I mean, I wasn't surprised the first time he got in trouble for this.
Right. Yeah, apparently, according to what I read, he got $1 million personally that he grifted out of people. That's
a lot of money.
Yeah, that is.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So Stewart Rhodes, did you hear about this? He wants his trial delayed because his lawyers won't call him back.
I had not heard about that. I missed the phone call.
Yeah, he basically wants to. He said he literally cannot reach his lawyers on the phone. My assumption is he's not paying them, because that's usually why a lawyer won't call you back, is that the bills aren't being paid. But the motion has been denied on delaying the trial. The motion that he'd filed said defendant Rhodes facing a potential life imprisonment in the most serious case among the 150 plus January 6 cases is scheduled to begin trial just 3 weeks from now by a hostile jury pool that is some 95% Democratic. It's like, really? They're going with that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you wanted a less quote-unquote hostile jury, maybe he shouldn't have chosen the nation's capital for his act of insurrection.
There you go.
Go invade a cornfield or something.
Yeah. Do it somewhere else, like Idaho or Wyoming or something. Yeah, and he's the
please don't. Please
don't do that. No, don't do that. We're not endorsing that. By any
the point
stretch of
is that we have a system of laws in this country, and when you commit a crime, you're held accountable. A jury of your peers in that area are going to serve as the jury. Mm-hmm. So none of this is surprising. The sooner they can get to this, the better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and Stewart Rhodes is the guy with the one good eye, right, Chris?
Yes.
The one good eye.
He shot his own eye out, so we can make fun of him at this point.
Yeah.
And then there's another person that is in jail right now who has a gluten problem.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And he's very, very upset. He's going to go on a hunger strike because there was a noodle on his tray in jail the other day. And so he's very, very upset that his diet is not being followed. Yet he's made commissary requests for food items, including boxes of Spanish rice, Snickers, and peanut M&Ms and honey buns, which I think they have some gluten.
Honey buns are made of wheat. Yeah.
Look, I'm not sure what he's after. Maybe he's trading them. I don't know.
Well, there is that option.
True.
Yeah, there is that option.
But look, this has all been silly. I mean, look, it's as if these people didn't consider for a moment that there would be legal consequences, and that some of those consequences could include jail time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's funny. It's like, well, I don't like how I'm being treated in jail. Well, you're in jail.
Well, look. I think the reason they didn't expect any consequences is because Trump went so long without ever having faced consequences. And what they did see was the people around Trump who did detestable, illegal things were let off the hook by Trump. And so when Trump did not let them all off the hook before leaving office, I think maybe they were surprised to experience what they're now experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, he did basically say, he's saying now that if he were to run again, which I don't think he's going to do because he loses all his money, that he would pardon everybody again, or finally, or whatever. And luckily, some of them are realizing that that's not true.
Right.
I mean, the one guy that testified in the January 6th committee hearing saying, I believed what I was doing was right, and I don't anymore, So some of them are realizing that he is the con man that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they believe he's going to save them, I have a bridge to sell them in Mar-a-Lago, and it's made out of top secret documents that were saved by the former president and scurried out of the White House in the cover of night to build a very beautiful bridge from one side of Mar-a-Lago to the other.
With invisible files, according to one of his...
Alina Habba.
Is the Habba lady.
Alina
Did you
Habba.
hear her talking about invisible files like we have invisible ink now? It's just... If there's a file folder and nothing's in it, it suggests that what was in it has been removed.
I hope she was kidding.
They're not invisible?
They're not invisible.
Maybe we need to get some executive lemons down there to reveal the ink.
That is how you used to do it, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Old school.
I watched Mr. Wizard. I'm pretty
Same
sure the
here.
former president watches a lot of Mr. Wizard too.
Same here.
Or as he calls it, Mr. Magic.
Yeah, I mean, with what's going on with the new revelation about a foreign country's nuclear secrets, that's scary. And everybody is, most people are thinking it was Israel that was compromised in this instance, which suggests that Jared Kushner might have gotten the $2 billion from Saudi Arabia because of that. I mean, allegedly.
It'll be interesting to see how these strings get tied together and what case they're able to make once they do make a case. But there's a lot of very horrible things that we've learned as a result of this. I mean, I can't tell you how many times on this show I've said, like, well, we'll see what we learn next month.
Yeah.
Right.
If you'd asked me a year ago if we'd be having this conversation, I'd say you're nuts.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have called you nuts, but I probably would have said that seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'd want to couch myself because nothing is really impossible with this guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, that the fact that if I were to write Donald Trump's from 2015 through now as a screenplay, no production company, no studio would be like, no, that's implausible. You can't, there's too many things, there's too many B stories, there's too many this. How many red herrings are you going to have in this? And it's like, because you just can't, it just keeps, it's like a soap opera. It really is, because soap operas are so over the top that what's been happening is you can't make this up. That's why it's so insane.
And you probably, if you did that, he'd probably want to audition for the movie because that's kind of like where his head's at.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, nobody would believe this if you told them, And we've been saying that for a long time. Nobody would believe this if.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what other luggage falls. I don't even say shoes fall anymore because it's been, there have been so many. At this point, we're talking about pieces of luggage that are falling.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more damaging information come out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just listening to what Hillary was saying on The View the other day with how she would be given top secret documents. It was, handcuffed to a briefcase and all this stuff. And how he got, I think he started ferreting boxes out while he was the president.
Remember that movie Shawshank Redemption, how Andy Dufresne used to put a little bit of rocks in his pockets?
Yep.
Part of me feels like, he had so many visits to Mar-a-Lago during his time as president. Maybe he was hiding them behind his absurdly long tie.
Yeah.
And he'd go take a stroll around Mar-a-Lago.
Great place.
And slowly drop them.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him that he probably started taking stuff down there early on in his presidency. I mean, for him to say that he wanted to take stuff so that Joe Biden wouldn't get rid of stuff that would exonerate him from the Russia investigation. So he's holding on to stuff that would exonerate him, but not letting us know about it. I mean, the man...
Right, which he says he declassified.
Right.
And he wouldn't put it out there. It's all baloney.
Yes, it is. It is. And yeah, oh my goodness, it's already 49 minutes after, Carl. We're going to have to do one of these.
Yes.
Okay, so Mooks for Carl.
That's right.
Give him money, everybody.
Yep.
He needs to be the new... And we have a link to that too, Chris, correct?
We have a link to it. We tweeted it out and we Facebooked it as well.